beginning our adventure back into Carson-Iceberg Wilderness. We're not even 2 miles into this. Obviously still snow out here. The views really are great. This is Disaster Trail, and we're walking towards Disaster Creek. I discovered I forgot our backup water reservoirs and my water filter. So I'm not sure we're exactly following a trail now. I think we found our campsite. Anything to say about the day, baby?
No, we're at Disaster Creek, and I felt like maybe the last mile or two of this was a bit of a disaster.
I'm a little concerned about these trees over on the other side, these dead trees. We try not to camp next to dead trees. Just shy of 7:30, and we are packed and loaded and on trail.
We're gonna walk and try to film Gabe and not trip and fall and try to keep the balance bar straight on the phone. So, whatever. This is unsuccessful.
We're stopping to get some water now that we're starting to encounter water again. We're nearing the top. Off to our right, this is Disaster Peak. It looked like a bunch of scree from down below. Up here it looks like a bunch of icy snow, which I don't really want us getting on. It's probably okay. I'm sure it's very slick. Disaster Peak. You can see conditions are just, there's not a trail over here. We're just taking a quick little peel off. We've been at it since 7:30 a.m. It's kind of tiring. We're both probably getting pretty tired right now. We're pretty low on water right now. This is what happens when Gabe forgets his water filter. We're now, like, this will probably be a 13, 14 mile day today. And we may be able to do this in 3 nights, 4 days instead of 4 nights, 5 days. Have that option, just trying to play it by ear. Clouds have rolled in. Kind of feel like rain, and I've felt just little sprinkles. Let's hope this doesn't hang around too long. It's kind of a combination of rain and hail. So this is, I think, all that canyon that we're gonna walk down below tomorrow. It's all kind of hazy because all the rain right now.
I'm a little nervous.
You're a little nervous. She doesn't want to get cold.
But it's now lighting up too.
It comes and goes. It's 4 o'clock roughly. This is our final switchback. We're gonna keep going down. Find a campsite down there somewhere. Oh boy, have we learned some lessons today. So when you make a map and it says route as opposed to a trail, route means you kind of just figure out your own thing. It means maybe at some point someone has done this particular thing. So the thing that we thought we were gonna get to, like this junction, it's just like truly bushwhacking across the backcountry. And there's so much exposure over there on that canyon side that the quote unquote route goes through. We don't feel good about it. Sad to say, we were bailing on our original plans and basically switching gears, turning around, going back to PCT, basically all the way to the car. What we are attempting to do right now is find a camp spot. We have found 3 of them so far that we're not really excited about because they're all surrounded by, either they're right next to the trail or they're surrounded by dead trees. So we're gonna attempt to go back up a bit and see if we can find something. It's starting to feel like a long day. 6:49, day 2. Boy, it has been a day of unexpected things. I gotta say, I am pretty happy with this campsite. We're a little precarious on the edge, but far enough that we're probably safe. Temperatures are dropping. Boy, that tree. I'm not excited about this tree. 7:30 a.m., day 3. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I barely slept for 2 days now, but that's just kind of pretty typical for me. I don't tend to sleep very well. We are now getting our start. Knock on wood, climb hasn't been as bad as we kind of expected. We've already made a solid crack at it. I think we're about to say goodbye to White Rock Canyon, at least put it to our backs. Crystal wants to pull over for just a second. Her neck and shoulders are hurting a bit, and I would say mine are as well. So we're gonna pull over and grab a quick little rest. Maybe another hour of this to go or so. 12:48, day 3. We've had lunch. We have pulled off the PCT. We got to our little junction and we started taking this trail. What is this called, baby?
I think it's called East Carson River Trail.
East Carson River Trail. So it does at least say trail on the map. And there's a bit of a trail. It's clear they've done some maintenance because we can see cut logs, but I will also say it's hard to find the trail. So we might be in for it. Anytime you pull off the PCT, you kind of get into this out here. It's just the trail less traveled. But we're gonna keep pushing on. The trail is not easy to follow. It's kind of there. It comes and it goes. Not sure what these are called, but look at how gorgeous these are. Isn't that great? Crystal just said these are special because not many people get to see these because you kind of have to go so far out of the way to see them. They don't have a name on the map. But yeah, we're really happy we got to see these. We're about to say goodbye. There should be some other falls in front of us. This is where we just kind of lose the trail and it goes through this meadow. But my word, is it beautiful through here. A lot of scat on the trail. Bear scat, other things that look like dog that are probably coyote. Who knows? 5:37 p.m., day 3. Crystal's starting to make dinner and I am in the midst of setting up tent. This is where I ended up setting up. It's a nice little spot. Good little views around. The clouds have kind of rolled in. Nothing that feels like rain, not like yesterday, but still it's covered up the sun, so it's a little cooler, which in some ways is nice. We laid down for just a bit to relax because we're both pretty tired. But yeah, so set up tent, get dinner ready. I'm gonna have to go filter some water. The water run is not fantastic, but it's worth it for this spot, which is just kind of beautiful in all different directions. So that's it. Okay, I'm gonna keep setting up the tent. Bear bucket is starting to look empty, more empty. Crystal crams these pretty full. It's pretty impressive how much she gets in these. You're supposed to carry these out in the wilderness. It deters bears from wanting to mess with campsites because there's really just nothing to be had. So we try to carry the most lightweight one we can. Look at the size of Crystal's toothbrush. We used to both use these to try to save weight. I got tired of like sticking my fingers in my mouth because it's hard to get that thing in. Like it's just tiny. So
Not that
it's
experience is not true for me.
Crystal's saying that experience is not true for her. So I just felt like I made a big mess and gagged myself all the time. So I'm splurging and carrying a real toothbrush now because I'm tired of dealing with that thing. The sun is set here where we're at, but it's still clearly daylight. But the sun is ducked behind that ridge, and it'll just start getting darker and cooler and cooler. But yeah, you can see the shadows creeping along. Crystal's trying to see. I have the luxury of not having hair, so I'm all good.
Look, I even one of the combs of the
Crystal has removed, what do you call those? Like
it's
the teeth
comb.
from
the
teeth from the comb to save weight once again.
To save weight, but also my hair wouldn't fit through all the little combs, so this is actually more functional for me too.
It gets kind of, yeah.
Because my hair's so thick.
You're out in the wilderness.
Yeah, so it's good to cut the middle, every other one. I should cut these 3 out too because I don't even use them. Save some more weight. This thing only weighs like 1 gram.
Okay.
Or 30 grams, so 1 ounce.
So anyway, and that's why I have a toothbrush now, because we saved the weight on those, and now I can have a real toothbrush. Overall, pretty good day. Not quite as hard a day as yesterday, but a big day. So I think yesterday was our hardest day, then today, then day one. Tomorrow should, we'll see, be a relatively easy day. 7:24 a.m., day 4. We're about ready to go. Everything's packed up. Crystal's making a mistake. You're supposed to be bold, start cold. And she's all...
We're going through a stream crossing that you said might lead to my knees.
Yeah. So she's all bundled up, and then she's gonna be hot here in just a bit. But, huh?
The nails are rusty.
Okay. This is our stream crossing. It's fun to do when you're in the morning and cold. Okay, I gotta figure this out. Okay, I did this. Crystal now has to do it. It's deeper than I thought. It probably came up to my hip. Thankfully, I took the phone out of my pocket before I did this. I know it doesn't look like much right now. Crystal's prepping here. It gets really deep right in here. It's one of those things where kind of once you get into it, like the cold will hit you and you just have to be calm. I don't really like how she's walking right now. I'd rather her be facing upstream more, but the current's not too bad. Right in here is where it's gonna start getting really deep, right there. And this is where you start really feeling the cold. And you just have to be calm because your legs are starting to go numb, but you gotta find your footing. And out you go. How was that, babe? Okay, we're walking it off now. Crystal's kind of cold. It is kind of cold. We're pretty wet.
The thing I'll say is I'm glad I have my hat and my coat because I think I would have even been more shivery in that. I basically lost my poles, Dave.
You lost your poles in the stream?
They sunk under.
Oh, I see.
Almost all the way under.
I got you. She's now telling me she's happy she's got her coat and her, all the stuff I was admonishing. Why can I not say that word? All the stuff I was saying she didn't need. Be bold, start cold. Yeah, she didn't, and now she's feeling happy she didn't because of this. This streak just feels a little eerie to us. It just feels like bear territory through here. So Crystal's making a little noise. Just let them know we're around. I got the bear spray handy. Trying to keep an eye out. Maybe nothing, but sometimes you just like trust your instincts on this stuff. Anyway, we'll probably be fine. This is the last time we should have to do this, but this is probably where Crystal's starting to hurt just a bit. It wouldn't be too bad if we had sunlight right now. Look at that, the sun is coming. It's almost to us. This is Carson Falls.
These are cool.
Yeah. Crystal's comment was this would make a fun water slide.
I mean,
If you don't mind getting bashed up and you're probably killed. But yeah, we're up on that little pitch. I can give you a little panorama here. This is off to the other side. It's pretty far down there. Yeah. And that's the direction we came. Oh, baby! Good heavens, this girl makes me nervous. That's a good shot, though. Crystal is over there saying goodbye to Carson Falls. They're a cute little thing she does. She always thanks these inanimate things that we see for the chance to see them. But it's good to practice gratitude. That is a long ways down. 9:24 a.m., day 4. We're passing the little junction to that little offshoot for the Carson Falls. Bugs are thick. just all over me, like even just trying to hold this camera there. We were seeing bear scat again, trying to keep our eyes open. This is the penance. If you go down, you gotta go back up again. At least they're switchbacks. That always makes me happy. Mentally, I don't know, it helps me. Okay, we're a fair amount up the canyon, well, up the climb, out of the canyon. There he is.
It's too small.
Kind of doesn't feel like much of a trail at this point. Snow plants. We of course have these around our house. They're neat though. I like these things. They're pretty short-lived. They look alien. I know this probably does not look very uphill, but you definitely feel it. And these forest climbs are some of our least favorite. You don't really get to see anything different the entire time. You're just in forest, but you feel the elevation. There's seldom switchbacks, so you just don't really feel like you're making any progress at all. We are both feeling it. This is a hard climb. Hard climb. Looking for a lunch spot. Crystal's hurting quite a bit, and this has been truly pretty grueling, like legit hard climbs. It's lunchtime. Tortilla, beef sticks, baby bell cheese, I think is what these are. And we brought apples, which are quite a luxury item out here, but we only have 2 and this is the second one. Okay, lunch is done. What time is it, babe?
It's almost 2.
It's almost 2 o'clock. We took a while for lunch. We're both pretty tired. That's the direction that we went. And this is the other side of that ridge line up there that we climbed, and the place we're gonna go down. Crystal's yelling at me because I'm taking too many pictures, and we got a lot of miles to do. This is a prettier trail than, I don't know, it may not feel that great just from the videos, but we got the wind. It's nice to be walking downhill. There's wildflowers. I assume we'll eventually get some water. There's a little trickle that we started to fill up at, but it was not bad. Certainly drinkable, but kind of a lot of gunk in it. And we'll probably have better options just a little further on. It's coming up on 3 o'clock. We've descended quite a bit. In nowhere, and there's barbed wire. We have encountered, yeah, I see them.
2, 3.
So, you know, you got other things out here that are trying to kill you and trip you. Final choice about our different routes. Murray Canyon, I guess, is where we just came from. Elder Creek is one of the options. And then we could also take Wolf Creek. Both of them are going to hit the PCT. I forget which one is shorter. Do you remember, baby?
Wolf Creek is a little shorter.
Wolf Creek is a little shorter, but that was the one that there was some section of the trail that looked a little different on the map. Is that correct? Okay, so we're gonna give this a think and we'll make our decision. Okay, we decided to take the Wolf Creek trail. The other one, Elder Creek, it would get us to the PCT faster, but we've kind of already done that section that it would get us to faster. I was not eager to redo it. I guess Crystal wasn't either. The risk of this other one is they're just sections of the trail that look a little bit more iffy on the map, and I'm just hoping they work out. So this is Wolf Creek, and then I think it's Bull Canyon.
That's right.
And now that I'm saying that out loud, Bull Canyon, we're seeing what look like cow piles back, like cow patties back here, dry ones. So I don't know if they let cattle run a little bit somewhere back here. We obviously saw that fence back there as well. I thought I read something about this. So hoping there's water. Oh, well, looks like we're gonna splash through water. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna get wet. Okay, well, that's the way of things. This is kind of a disaster. We had to get a bunch off trail, some old logging road, not really there. and finally just became impassable. So we had to bushwhack back over this other trail, which is barely a trail. We might have to go all the way back. So I think Crystal's pretty mad at me, and she should be. Although we did talk about this together. But anyway, we'll survive. 5 o'clock, day 4. We are back where we started after a big fat failure. And now we got to figure out what to do, because we got an hour, 2 hours if we really wanted to push it. We're both pretty tired to find camp. What is it, like 5 p.m.? A little after 5 p.m., day 4. This has been brutal. I'll be the first to admit it. So we peeled off, went back. I know there were those little routes that didn't maybe look like real routes. It started to look like a real trail and then kind of petered out and then kind of came back. And then it was those forest roads. Eventually it ended up in a stream. And on the other side, it was just impenetrable vegetation. And then even on the other side of that, it just looked like, I don't know what was going on over there. I don't know if there's a real trail. Maybe, who knows? So we turned around. There was another trail back there, and that was the one, the thing it was for, the sign was for, which is, what was it called? I've already forgotten. So we kind of like went off trail to get down back to that thing, which was shenanigans, I'll admit. And then it's just a long walk back. And now we've got to go the other way on top of a bunch of miles that we already went. So this is pretty exhausting. Spirits are a little low, but we got this. We're gonna do it. Okay, bye. This has been a tough day. It was supposed to be an easy day, 10 miles or so. It did not work out. I mean, this was supposed to be 44 miles round trip, the whole trip. We're like 55 or something at this stage, and we're not back to the car. So it could easily be like a 60-mile trip, which is a big one. We're exhausted. We're about to eat, so we're gonna eat. 7:46 p.m. day 4. Crystal's bedded up. I may have to keep doing that because mosquitoes keep getting on my hands. There's another one. Yeah, tough day, but we made it. We've eaten. That makes me feel better. Brushing my teeth makes me feel better. Washing my face with my little wash rag makes me feel better. Yeah, I feel like I learned a lot. I mean, just in general, like, okay, so what am I trying to do here? I'm trying to start planning new routes and get us off kind of just the popular trails that we've been on before and see some stuff that just most people won't see. And we've definitely gotten to do that. That being said, I got to figure out more how to read these maps that I'm seeing. There's not a lot of information about this stuff online, but I feel like I'm getting a better sense of how to read them. Obviously, if it says route, you're going to be in for it. If there's things that just look strange on the map, probably trust your instincts, and they're going to be strange. And I kind of knew that going into this. It just didn't look that far on the map, and the topology just didn't look that bad, but there were just so many blown down trees and so much vegetation. Just couldn't make the progress, and there was no assurance that it got better once we kind of connected with that other trail. So in both cases, like, look, I don't like that these things happened. I wish I could figure this stuff out in advance, so at least we know what we're in for. But when you're doing these things, ingesting new information, figuring out when to pivot, being willing to just like cut your losses and go do something else. We did that twice on this trip, and I like that we did that. It made it harder on the other side, but how you get yourself into trouble is you push in too far, and you make a mistake, and then you double down and you triple down and you quadruple down, and then you're in a bad situation. In both cases, we pushed in a little bit, and maybe a little bit more than we should have today, but it just wasn't working out. So you call an audible, you turn around, it doesn't feel good, it makes you angry, it's tiring, you don't make the miles that you hope you would, but you live to fight another day, and that's what we're doing. So overall, I feel really good about this. I think Crystal will in time, maybe not right now, A night's sleep will do wonders. 6:50 a.m. on day 5. This is our day out. We got what, 8-9 miles to the trailhead. There is some climbing. We hope to not have as much climbing today and be a little further along. But we're starting a bit early and we're gonna go hit this. We got a stream crossing up ahead, but shouldn't be too bad. And pretty soon we'll be on the PCT and on trail that we've already walked. Yeah. Okay. Bye. We're back at the junction. We've stood at this spot, and we went off to the left, baby, off to the left that way, and we came from that way. Well, we came from that way too, but now we're going home. We're going to the car this way. Okay.
Okay, this is day 5. We're on our way out. We're back on the PCT, but we're probably coming up on an intersection soon. But we just broke through the forest again. We were in the forest for a while climbing.
We made the pass, and now we turn our backs to all of this. Still snow lurking up here. It's so slick on this stuff. And Crystal's slipped a few times.
You're doing pretty good. It's probably safer than... You do that more gracefully.
Can you hear the frogs? Kind of neat. Sometimes we hear those around the house too in the evening. Okay, baby, we got to do this without falling in the drink. Feels a little dicey with all that loose scree. It's a pretty good drop. You can see the trail on the other side. It's I don't know, it's just hard to be unhappy, at least for me. This is such a pick-me-up. I feel very fortunate. We're probably about 2 miles from the car, day 5. Yeah, I often think about hiking, backpacking as being a pretty good metaphor for life. And on this trip, I've been thinking about all kinds of different P words. One of them would be preparation. Planning would be another. Perseverance, pivoting, pain, payoffs, pleasure. I did persistence already. Keep going, babe.
You said perseverance. Okay.
So these are the P words I've been thinking about. So you could start with planning, and there's this expression you sometimes hear like, plans are worthless, planning is everything. I think I subscribe to that. Not really much you can do with that statement, because it means you do need to do planning. So as it relates to planning, like I obviously planned this route. There's a whole spreadsheet that we have for our backpacking equipment. We check everything. Yeah, there's a lot of planning that goes into this, and preparation is part of that as well. But then you get out there on trail, and then you get another word, which is pain, because a lot of this is pain, and you've probably been hearing a lot of pain throughout this. And actually the planning is even pretty painful, particularly as you're getting started with all this. You don't know what to take. Permitting, so there's another P word. More pain, lots of pain. And I would say these backpacking trips, I mean, they might be 50% pain, maybe higher than that. I mean, even right now, we're still kind of climbing. It's a lot of pain, and that comes up against that other word, persistence, which is just really important for pushing past the pain. And there's a lot of that needs to happen to experience, I mean, why are you doing all this in the first place? The payoffs, the pleasure. And I think a lot about the word pain as it relates to pleasure or payoffs. In my work, there's a lot of storytelling that kind of goes into the product narratives. Something I tend to say at work a lot is high highs require low lows. And when you're trying to tell a story, I mean, what is a story? A story is a journey. And what I often say is there can be no journey without contrast. You have to go from somewhere to somewhere. And so, I mean, it's kind of a negative thing to say, but in some ways I feel like there can be no pleasure without the contrast to pain. And that is what makes some of these payoffs feel so incredible out here in a way that you can't experience. Like, look, I've been to Bryce Canyon in Utah, and the views are incredible, but literally you walk about 20 foot from the parking lot. You didn't experience much pain for that payoff. So you gawk at it, you didn't earn it, you drove to it, and you'll just you can't experience a fraction of what we get to experience when you walk 3 days to a waterfall that almost no one will see because they're just not willing to endure that much pain to see it. And I mean, to double back on life, life is full of pain, life is full of pleasure. It is the journey between these points, the contrast. Like, look, if you could be sitting in this bath of the most pleasurable, I don't know, water, substance, pick whatever you want. But if that's your only setting, how would you even know it's good? That's where you started. That's what it always is. How would you know that that is the most euphoric state imaginable without some contrast to something else? And that's the distance between pleasure and pain. And life is full of that. And this is full of that. And when you're persisting through pain, you have to kind of remember that this is how you also get to experience the payoffs and the pleasure. It's what makes the food taste sweet. Have I ticked through all my P's? I think that's mostly it. Oh, I also wanted to talk about pivoting, because I was thinking about that word as well. And that exists as kind of the contrast to planning. Clearly there's been a lot of pivoting on this trip. And that's also another thing. It's sometimes not an easy thing to let go of what you think you are, what you planned, what you feel like, just the pivot. I mean, so many people, you get born into a place which you had nothing to do with, introduced to a bunch of beliefs that you didn't pick for yourself. It was just kind of the bathwater you were born into, and you just roll with it for a lifetime. And that ability to, do I want to be here? Do I want to keep doing this? Do I want to cut my losses? Do I want to turn differently? I don't know, it's a rarer quality than you might think. And I just feel like it's a really important quality when you're out here doing this stuff, to be willing to let go of things. Just admit, this doesn't feel right. I think this is a mistake. Let's try something different. And again, there's tension here between that and persistence, because sometimes you do have to just push through the pain. And like, there's just a big jumble of all these things that are all important, but if you turn the dial up too high on any one of them, it's not a good thing. There kind of needs to be equalization across all of them. A solid amount of planning, solid amount of preparation, persistence, some pain, so that you can experience the pleasure and the payoffs, the capacity to pivot. Yeah, all of these things are just really important qualities. And if you get them in a pretty good blend across your entire life, I mean, you can go a lot of interesting places in a way that you wouldn't if you lacked them. So anyway, those are some of the P's I've been thinking about. I've also been thinking about other P's, which is like piss poor planning prevents, what is it? Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. And maybe there's a little of that on this too. I really do think I did a lot of planning. And there's things I didn't know, but there's always things you don't know. Like, you're walking into the wilderness in a place you've never been before. What do you think is gonna happen? And if you forever wait for perfect planning, perfect knowledge to even take that first step, you'll do almost nothing in life. So you just have to take the plunge sometimes. Do your best and just go. Go, and then do your best. And as long as you walk away with it from it, and again, that's the ability to pivot, you'll get stronger for it. And you'll get to see some neat things. So there's a bunch of P's I've been thinking about on this trip. That's it, trailhead. We made it.